All right, we're clocked in. Hey, what's going on, party people? How's everyone doing? Happy New Year, everyone. Now, if this is your first time here, it's definitely a great pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. Once again, welcome. Now, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much is that I help people to become mentally and emotionally balanced. And the idea of helping you to become mentally and emotionally balanced is just so you can attain your highest level of consciousness. Now, when I'm talking about attaining that highest level of consciousness, what this is referring to is for you to become, let's just say, God-like or Krishna-like, Christ-like, Muhammad-like, because ultimately what you see when you're looking at those figures, they are a representation of anyone who have attained that highest level of consciousness. That's why when you learn about their lives, you'll see they had to go through trials and tribulations, for them to become the person that they were. And but most importantly, also with the message that eventually they end up, spreading out or, giving us. I mean, that's all purpose here. Your purpose is to become Christ-like, meaning for you to attain your highest level of consciousness that allows you, to stay in connection with what you call the Father or the universe, however you choose to call it. Now, why is it important for you for your I mean, how does you being emotionally and mentally balanced, help you pretty much to become, let's just say, Christ-like or to attain your highest level of consciousness? I mean, that those should be some of the questions you should be asking. But anyway, I got you. Don't worry about it. But anyway, well, let's just say, and this is, like if I'm depressed, there's no way, I'm gonna be in my highest state of mind. In fact, you'll probably tell me, you know what, you're not gonna see things clear right now. You might want to take a break, get your stuff together. But ultimately, what you're also saying is acknowledging a direct connection with your emotions and your state of mind. Another way of looking at this too, let's just say if you were bit by like a dog or a cat, lion, it doesn't matter. Then now your intellect is going to be shaped in a way where you would create a reality, meaning you would try to avoid dogs as much as possible because of what happened. And sometimes it may even happen to you unconsciously. And that is another, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but I guess while I'm here, I might as well talk about it. That's why it's important for you to do your shadow work, because there's certain things that you could be, due to your early pain, that you may, somehow created a whole different reality that you're not conscious of. Because sometimes people who are afraid of dog, I mean, some of them may remember they were bit. I mean, they actually were bitten by a dog. But for the most, well, I shouldn't say for the most cases, but in most cases, it could be something that they don't even remember. It could be like, you know what, I just don't like animals. I mean, it could well be true, but generally speaking, there's something behind it. So I'm saying that to say, when your emotions does have an impact on your intellect, and when that happens, you're not on your highest level of consciousness, because now you become one-sided, or your intellect is being conditioned by your emotions. And just so you guys know, that's the reality for most people. You know what I'm saying? If you were disappointed, you know what I'm saying, God played you, you know what I'm saying, he fucked you, he never called back. You see what I'm saying? Like, all of these things will shape you a certain way. Or if you were disappointed or you were raped, I mean, listen, it's all the same thing. And now you may not be open to trust people. So now your intellect is not at his highest point or highest level. and vice versa too. Now let's just say, because and here's what I see a lot of people do. Now they're becoming more intellect. They're choosing to suppress the emotion because a lot of us, have this idea of your emotions are weak or emotions makes you weak, right? And because you're thinking that way, now you become one-sided because now you become very rigid, straight to the point. You're missing out on the small things. You become the law. Meanwhile, motherfuckers that are the law or breaking the law. Crazy. But anyway, yeah, I mean you desynthesize like pretty much to like people, everything has to make sense. There's other things you're not taking under consideration. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, we are emotional beings. Our core is pretty much emotion. And your true transformation, it's gonna take place through your emotions, just so you know. Just saying. So again, by you, let's just say you choose to be on one side, becoming more intellect, you suppressing the emotions, you are not balanced. I mean, you could make logical shit, but life is a combination of logic and what's not logic. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. There are gray areas in life. There are in between. It's not black or white. It doesn't happen that way. I mean, it's not even that way. Not even, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But anyway, so as a result, I'm hoping that you can see, you know, the key thing here, they have your emotions and your intellect has to become together, and ironically, that's how you become what is called a holy man. You have successfully, your yang and the yin has to successfully become one. And at that point, now you're using your intellect along with your emotions, and now you could see the bigger picture. Now you could use your logic to put things together, and then also your emotions to help you to see beyond the logic. But anyway, so now when I'm talking about being emotionally balanced, right? We're gonna break it down for just a second, just so you guys understand. You know, um, what I mean by, you being emotionally balanced. First of all, you would have to understand pretty much what that is. It's you being in touch with your emotions. And touch, not just, being in touch, but, you being emotional, getting in touch with your emotions. Meaning you understand what your emotions are, you understand your emotional pattern, you have the capability of acknowledging, let's just say, any type of emotional blockages that you may have. Oh, I hope you guys can hear me. You guys should be able to hear me. And that's what you're dealing with, and that's how you become emotionally balanced. Because only then, you see, like when people are being triggered, sometimes, for the most part, there's something called shadow work. When you see people who are being triggered or people who are being in denial, what they're truly doing is the fact that they have not acknowledged their own emotions. And that's a good 99.9% of us, to be honest. So to be emotionally balanced, what I'm truly talking about is you acknowledging your emotions, understanding what your emotions are, but you being in a healthy connection or relationship with your own emotions. So that way, when you're being triggered, you know that you're being triggered, and at that point, you know how to handle your emotions better. Instead of being triggered, and then now your emotions has taken over you. So On the flip side of that, I also help you to become mentally balanced. Now, it's the same pretty much baseline understanding here. The first thing is you would need to understand how your mind works. But then again, you also have to understand because technically, becoming intellectually or mentally balanced, what you're doing is you're becoming more aware of your logics, of your intellect, meaning you understand how it operates, you understand how it's being conditioned in the society that you're living in. You also understand the impact that society may have on your intellect, how they're training you to think. Not to mention religion and all that good, and the political, your culture, all of it plays a big part on how you see things. So that's why I always tell people, like, and I will be talking about that shortly, that spirituality is your regular life. Now, all you're doing in this regular life is that now you're becoming more conscious. You're having a deeper understanding of that ordinary life. I mean, I guess while I'm here, I might as well talk about it. For instance, when we talk about the occult, right? The occult is what we call the esoteric wisdom. It's the knowledge that helps you to see what's taking place in your dark side, meaning the side that is not physical or visible to others. Because men and all of us, we are both visible and invisible. So when you're dealing with that, when we're talking about the occult or even spirituality, for that matter, it's helping you to be more conscious of the invisible side of you. So now you're becoming more aware. Now you know you have a third eye. Now you know you could astral travel. Now you know you have your chakras. Now you know meditation is important. All of that shit is just you. It's just you dealing in this regular life still, and you just having a deeper understanding of that regular ordinary life. And when you understand that, that's why now the Indian called this world a world of illusion, meaning it's not, it doesn't, it's more than what it appears to be. Like what you're calling the monks or whoever else who's living a spiritual life, it's not like this motherfucker's living a whole different life, and then here you are, like, wow, like what that has to do with me. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? These realities that I'm talking about here, they also take place in your life. Now it's just a matter of how conscious are you of it. So that's why one of the biggest misconception when it comes to spirituality is that a lot of people think it's outside of them. Anyway, so to make a long story short, going back to being mentally balanced and emotionally balanced, what this is referring to, it's pretty much you having a deeper understanding, but you becoming one with either your intellect, and the one meaning now you understanding how it's taking place, you're becoming more aware of that. And so it's the same, and you're doing the same thing with your emotions, so therefore you're becoming more self-conscious. So as you're developing consciously, then now you become the one that attained the highest level of consciousness. You become the illuminated one, the bright one, the shiny one, the star. Oh, that's you. That's your essence. So meaning, if the Illuminati are calling themselves Illuminati or whatever the fuck you want to call that, I'm just gonna grand opening and closing. I mean, shit. You should be calling yourself that. Because what that word simply means is the bright one. But I understand conspiracy and the way you guys are going about it. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? You are wasting your time there. Trust me. It's not. How is that benefiting you? How is that making you more conscious of you? Because for you to be the true illuminated one, it has to be with you, being more conscious of you. And that's what we mean in the occult when we say the truth shall set you free, meaning free from material bondage, free from limitations. Now that you have the ability to identify yourself with the eternal side of you, with eternity in you, then now you are looking at, you automatically transcend at that right then and there. Now, if you're coming back, you already know. It's a pleasure to have you guys back. It's always good. You know exactly what we do here. Happy Friday, everybody. Do what you do. Get your drinks, get your smoke. Let's talk our shit. And what we do here is elevation. Each one teach one. Listen, this is love for me, man. This is a pleasure and an honor, for me to even talk about this shit. Because the message in itself, it's mind blowing. It's the light. It's elevation. It's you knowing who you are. And I have I guess not just the audacity, but access was granted in so many words, you know, and for me to do this, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy already. I'm good. Listen, I'm all taken care of. Don't worry about me. Worry about yourself. Anyway, welcome back. You know exactly what we do here, man. Again, so all you gotta do, you know what I'm saying, close your eyes and open up your mouth, baby. The body of Christ. That's what you're gonna get here. Now, obviously, now if this is your first time, part of my routine, I always take a little bit of time and talk about spirituality. But I guess, it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? But I will touch on it just a little bit more, just so you have a better understanding of everything I just mentioned, right? So, as a spiritual healer, spirituality is the foundation, it's the core of what I do here. The knowledge that I'm presenting to you comes out of that. And when we're talking about spirituality, just to give you, let's just say, a good understanding, we use a lot of what is called esoteric knowledge. That's why the occult is a big part of it. Now, what we say in the occult is that the occult is pretty much what we call esoteric knowledge, but it's a knowledge that gives you a deeper understanding of, let's just say, of your ordinary life, but also of your invisible side. So what that's doing as I'm helping you to become more conscious or shedding light on your dark side, it's now that's how you're becoming more whole. But now you have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. But at the same time, this is also giving you more power and control over yourself because now you are acknowledging more about you. So you already know you have your physical self, but now you are also understanding. In addition to that, you are that and more. So to give you a perfect example, now in spirituality, we would say something like, "Your God creates your reality." That understanding or that statement, it's pure spirituality, meaning it pretty much embodies. Let's just say if I'm a 7 day Adventist, right? Now, my Saturday automatically, it's not going to be the same as your Saturday. So, therefore, given that this is what my God is telling me to do, so I'm behaving that way. Or the flip side of that is that you act like your God and your God, and you're gonna act. I mean, your God acts like you, pretty much. Pretty much. So the understanding of me, let's just say, and if you're Catholic, there's a certain reality that you're living by. So I'm able to see going beyond, the, let's just say, the non under going beyond, let's just say, the little bit of lecture or how you're being conditioned. I'm able to see the bigger picture. That's why spirituality embodies it all. Because regardless if you're Muslim, there you go. Your behavior changes, the way you dress changes, because that's the way your God is, and that's what your God is asking of you. Same thing. It's not by design. Christianity is the only religion that imposes itself on others. They're the only one with the truth. And everything they say, they always go by the great, what I'm saying, by the great book. But guess what? That instruction and that action that they're taking is also part of that narrative. The reason why a Buddhist do not act that way, that is because their God, the information, the esoteric wisdom that they are learning from being a Buddhist, does not prescribe for them to act that way. So therefore, you act like your God. No matter how you want to dissect it, you want to talk about faith, you want to talk about whatever. Have at it. That's it. At the end of the day, that's what it is. So spirituality embodies it all. So as I was saying before, now the misconception now comes in when, let's just say, people, I mean, and it's out of ignorance, for most of us, but also we were conditioned also out of ignorance, but also, through mind control, that we learn to identify ourselves with, you know with with a fucking image on how we should be. I mean, it's not a coincidence. Everybody in this society, they're living their lives based on who they should be. There's greed, it's a competitive thing, it's all of that, it's a competitive market and all that shit. And I'll be talking about that a little bit further. But it's not by coincidence. And then now you're living in a world where you're telling people, well, you got to have control of your ego and all of that misunderstanding, even of your ego, because you don't even understand your ego is there to protect you. That's why the loudest motherfucker, right? What you call an ego at this point, because that's what you're looking at, which could be true, but their ego is also protecting them because they are weak. If you're weak minded, well, your ego is going to act in accordance to how you are. Because all of us, or the ascended masters, they have egos too. I mean, it's not no magical shit or our egos popping out and then we gotta control it. Oh my God, you don't want your ego to somehow. No, no, it's not no Fight Club, motherfucker. That's another miss. Well, now you having a duality perspective. Now you're fighting yourself. But if you're truly talking about the ego, that has to do with the type of food that you're eating. How are you thinking? The kind of training that you have that gets you to react that way. If you're living in a world, let's just say, self-image, and that's what people go by, well, that's what your ego's gonna go by. And when your image is not looking too good, then you need to create You need to sound better. You need to do whatever the fuck it is. You you get what I'm trying to tell you? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of it, it's not so much of what you know, but it's how you're looking at it. So a lot of it has to do with the way you're looking at it. And if you truly want to talk about mind control, that's truly when mind control comes in. It's to make you look at it a certain way. I mean, it's not a coincidence. Even if you want to call your colonizers, they had to put Christianity on you because their God comes with a. So, as I was saying, I had to restart the computer real quick, but this is gonna. I'll just edit that out. Most likely not. But anyway, so as I was saying, that's why Christians act a certain way. I mean, it is said in the Bible too. You know what I'm saying? This is your only God. You know what I'm saying? And when you go by this God, and then that God's going to create your reality. Meaning that's why, most people now, as a sociable thing, you go to church because it makes you automatically a better human being because now you have codes of conduct that you're gonna go by. I mean, it's all part of the narrative, and this is what a lot of you don't see. You know what I'm saying? That's why even the ones who are deeply into the Bible, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? if anything that you don't that is it's not in relationship to what is being said in the Bible, you already know exactly what that is. They working for the other side. And do you know who that other side is? Oh, you know. You know. I'm not going to insult your intelligence right there because I know you know. That's the bubble you in, or most people are. Again, that's because they're not conscious, right? So I'm showing you pretty much spirituality goes beyond it's your regular life. I mean, if you want to talk about religion, cool. You don't want to talk about religion, cool. It embodies all of it. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's a lot because our essence, because spirituality is dealing with, in just the word itself, you see spirit in it. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's the reality of the spirit. And that's your reality, that's the experience that you're going through here, right now. You're dealing with other people's shadow, you're dealing with other people, let's just say, who are being triggered, you're dealing with people's fear. I mean, that's what you're dealing with ultimately. And when you understand that now you're able to see people for what and who they are. Oh, I'm giving you the sight now, baby. Which shit, nigga. This is for you. Well, shit, you decide. I know that shit was for me and is for me. Then now you're dealing with the occult, just like I was telling you about. Now the occult now is dealing with those sacred texts. Just like in religion, they have those books. They have, the Bible, the Quran, you know what I'm saying, and all that shit. Then now you're dealing, it's that knowledge. So now it's the same thing when we talk about the occult for spirituality. Now the occult now is that esoteric wisdom, the kind of wisdom that what that is, because a lot of people get spooky by the occult. Oh my God. I got you, motherfuckers. I got you. Don't worry. There's absolutely nothing spooky about it. Your essence in itself, if you understand yourself, you are mysterious in itself. Look around, even life is mysterious in its motherfucking self. I mean, all of us just woke up over here and then got to figure out who the fuck we are in the mix of it. And then those who gets to know, then you go back to where you came from, whatever the fuck. But making a long story short, I'm not trying to confuse you more. So, I mean, life in itself is fucking mysterious. And so is your essence. Now, lucky for you, what you see in the occult is that's the ancestors' oeuvre. You know what I'm saying? Those ancestors' work and wisdom that was left for us as they discovered who the fuck they are. Now, that's why that the work, the truth is already here. Just like they're telling you in Jesus, you already saved, but you have to accept Jesus. The truth is already around you. You just have to discover it. And that's what it means. And that's what they said when Morpheus was telling Neo, I can only show you the door. You gotta walk through it. And that truth, all of us have to go through it. You have to awaken to it. You have to discover it for yourself, my friend. You have to discover it for yourself. And us spiritual masters and all of our ancestors, they also understood that. That's why they left images for you. But most importantly, what they're truly doing, and even the wisdom, is that, we call it the mirror of wisdom. So now through me, I'm trying to help you to see you because I know I can't do shit for you, pretty much. But I mean, the part that I'm doing, it is all I could do. Not that I can't do shit for you, but what really is gonna matter is how this information, how you dealing with it. You see what I'm saying? Is it improving your sights? Is it allowing you to see better? Tell a friend. If that's the case, let it be known, motherfucker. Shit. Let him. I'm telling you this shit. You know what I'm saying? Let it be known. So spirituality is just your regular life. So now going back to that esoteric knowledge, there's nothing spooky. What you're dealing with now is what we call they call it a hidden culture, meaning it's what taking place. When you're talking about culture, how things are done. You know, about your spirit. That's why I mean I get what they're saying. That's why personally I do not like that definition, to be honest. But I do get it. But the hidden culture, just like when people are hiding anything from you, that's not what that means. It doesn't mean, let's just say, we're keeping anything away from you. What it means is you have to look for it because that's the knowledge that is beyond the surface or beyond surface level. And that's why some of the basic shit that you will learn in the fucking occult is what? You have a conscious mind, you have a subconscious mind. And now you just learn what? You have a third eye. Oh my God. Can you see how spooky that shit is? You know what I'm saying? And in addition to all that shit, now motherfuckers are telling you have aura. You dealing with energy. There's an energetic field around you. Ooh. So when you get to acknowledge these things about you, that's what now at this point you become spiritual. Then you understand you need to meditate. You do all that good shit that you hear the monks be doing. And there's a whole philosophy behind it. I'm not making fun of it. All I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to get you to see what's taking place. It's just again a higher level of consciousness. And the biggest misconception about spirituality pretty much comes out of ignorance because you don't know who you are. So because of that, most of us always look at it as it's something outside of us. Like, wow, this motherfucker must be dreaming. Like, wow, nigga, what you smoking? Do you see what I'm saying? Because you don't see the connection in your life, but it's okay because you were not trained to see more into yourself. That's why now you're gonna have to be born of the spirit, meaning now you're gonna have to be conscious of that dark side of you or that hidden side of you. And as you do so, now this is exactly what it means by now you are being born again. Oh shit. You see how spooky that shit is? I'm shivering over here. You know what I'm saying? Ignorance. The people are perishing due to ignorance. It is what it is. But anyway, just to summarize real quick, yes, it is a misconception. I mean, spirituality is just your life. So now the level or the degree that you start to acknowledge your spiritual traits. Now that's when now you start to awaken, like other people like to say, oh, you woke, or you woke, whatever the fuck terminology that they're using. I'm trying to get you to see the baseline, the under, you know what I'm saying, like the foundation of what's happening. Again, your regular life. Even in our daily conversation, we are reflecting our essence, but we just do it unconsciously. And all spirituality or the occult now is doing is to help you to be conscious of these things, help you to be more conscious of who you are. And because of that, you have to go within. You have to look for it beyond the surface. And that's what the hidden culture is. You know what I'm saying? But again, I can understand why the hidden part of it makes it so Illuminati-ish, if that makes any sense. Since, that's what you motherfuckers love. You know what I'm saying? Makes it so spooky, so whatever the fuck. But anyway, I'm here to expose all that shit. I'm on some Cat Williams shit, nigga. That's how we walking into 2024. You know what I'm saying? Cat Williams, motherfucker. Oh shit, I'm wilding. But anyway, spirituality is just your regular life. So now, with all of that being said, guys, as you see in the title here, in the past few recordings, let me just give you a little bit of background because that's going to be helpful, in what we're going to be talking about tonight. So tonight we're talking about, acknowledging the good in you, but first, I dedicated myself because when we talk about yourself or being self-conscious, you cannot be self-conscious without the self. Let's just make one thing clear. Yeah. It's not going to happen. And you becoming in alignment with your intellect, hopefully that's what we're doing here as well to help you to see a little bit clearer. And that's why spirituality is also your regular life. But anyway, going back to what the fuck, I think I kind of lost it a little bit. Going back to like your what was I talking about? Yeah, the self. How do you be conscious or self-conscious without the self? But even to be conscious at all, like aware, you got to be aware of certain things. So I'm saying that to say, you know, there's nothing that could be done without you. Just like there's nothing that would have that could have been done without me doing it in my life. Either me becoming active, being aware of myself, whatever the fuck it is, But now, how do you do that when we are being conditioned in a society that's been conditioning you or that's been teaching you, about self image? Because when you're talking about self image, you talking about how you are being seen by other people from the external. And that's why that has nothing to do with self. Self image, how you are being seen, I guess it has to do with you a little bit, but not dealing with your divine qualities, not you internally, but how you being seen from the outside. That's truly what you're dealing with when it comes to self image. And because you've been trained, again, this is all trying to get you to see how this is not a coincidence. And this is why this is also the matrix, because this is a world that is created out of our ignorance. Because now you're not training in accordance to who you are, then it's the self image. It totally makes sense to me why now I have to look better than you. It totally makes sense to me now why I have to fight for what I look like to other people. It totally makes sense to me why I would have to worry about how you look at me. Then now you become a people pleaser. This is not by coincidence. You've been trained to be that way. You're just not conscious of it. And then now you have people that are somewhat conscious, and that's what they're fighting, but they have not seen the root of it. Then now they'll tell you to control your ego, but your ego has nothing to do with it. It's how you're looking at it from the beginning that has everything to do with it. You see what I'm saying? So then you have your half conscious people, and then you have that woke movement. That's what they're fighting. Keep going. If you're there, listen. At least it's better than nothing. I definitely say that. So I can't be against it. But there's a lot more than that, as you can see. I mean, as I'm hoping that you got to start looking at it a little bit different now. You know what I'm saying? Because even in life, let's just say, you getting to know somebody. Why the fuck do we say that? Well, we know what the person look like, and sometimes we even say you'll never get to know who somebody is, right? Because there's a whole other thing that's taking place that's going on. So it's more than that person than their physical appearance. And if there's more than that, well, that's truly what you're dealing with. That's when you got to bypass that fucking. Let's just say you got to start looking at it from the dot perspective. That's what they're showing you in the matrix. When they're looking at the matrix through the dots, and then you're looking at images. Now you're looking. That reality becomes different. Now you're looking at energy. You're looking at waves. You're looking at particles. And if you want to be mysterious about it, then you're talking about l'esprit. You're talking about fucking spirit. And that's you, all of you motherfuckers. including myself. Hello. So now, see, that's why for me, like, I spend the whole night just talking about that. Because if you get that, oh man, God bless you. God bless you. And I always start all of my recordings that way because that's what I'm here for. That's what you need to understand. That alone, you're good. Because I know the chain of action that once you start looking at it from that perspective, and that's it's that little seed. That's all you need. And of course, as you start seeing it, you're gonna have to water yourself, and that's what we're here to talk about as well. So seeing the good in you, but I'm saying all of that to say because because we're given that we're living in a society where we're just going by your self image. Self esteem doesn't belong here. Or what you call self esteem is truly your self image. Now, it makes sense for you to keep up with the Joneses. Why the fuck not? He has this, he has that, and then how the fuck you gonna look like? Wait, let me know. And that's why motherfuckers are robbing, stealing, doing all that shit just to be looked a certain way. And then you saying people are chasing for clouds. Yeah, but it's designed to be that way. Now that's what you don't see. That's what you're not talking about. And that's also another reason why you may not have compassion for those who are chasing for clouds because you don't understand them. How do you have compassion for them? So that makes you, I don't know if I even say half woke, but that's the knowledge that you might want to be careful for. I mean, of. Because a lot of you motherfuckers who stuck in that little in between, who don't really get to see shit, it's harder for you to get into the kingdom of heaven because now you think you see it all. Nigga. Anyway, I'm gonna let that go. It's Friday. I'm gonna give you a break. I'm gonna give you a break. You good, nigga? Stay woke. You know what I'm saying? But I'm really hoping you get to go beyond that. Oh, woke. I mean, shit. I mean, what do you think we're doing here? You know what I'm saying? We're doing more than just being woke over here. We're radiating at this point. We're shining. You see, that's why the words got to be made flesh. You have to make that connection. But anyway. Now we're going back again. Has to do with you. So in my past couple of recordings, pretty much I was trying to I was trying to get you guys to acknowledge yourself, not the self image, you. So we talked about, self conscious, we talk about self esteem, and now self image is what you look like from other people. And as long as you're doing that, that's why you cannot even love anybody anyway. Because to love somebody, it requires you. It requires you to be intimate. It requires you to be vulnerable because now you addressing your own feelings. And that's the purpose of you having a fucking relationship. Why would you have a relationship if it's not going to be genuine? Meaning you have to be vulnerable. And this is what you motherfuckers are calling weak. And the reality of it, because you're not being vulnerable, because that's how you build your inner strength. Now you weak internally. And that's why you can never serve two gods. If you're gonna go by the self-image, I mean, that's the reality that you're gonna go by. You know, you can't on your computer cannot be Windows, let's just say 10, 11, whatever the fuck, and at the same time be fucking iOS or fucking Apple. It can't. It's either you have Android or you have Apple, nigga. Your operating system cannot be self-image and then self-love at the same time. They cannot. That's why you can never serve two gods. You cannot. Now, some of you guys, you may have Windows 10, and the other one has Windows 11. Some of you may even have Windows 8 or Windows 8. All right, we're not judging. And others may have Chrome. Good. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm trying to get you to know how to operate both systems, both Android and motherfucking Apple. Eh, I got both phones, nigga. You know what I mean? And ultimately, now you became a better operator. Said operator. Saying? So, but anyway, going back, but I want you to keep that in mind. And that's what it means by the whole idea of you cannot serve two God. Meaning, if you going back to what I was telling you in terms of your God creates your reality, if this is what you're going by that's creating this reality, you cannot gonna have another God at the same time that's creating, like you cannot live. Do does that make sense? I mean, I hope it does. And if it doesn't, what's understood doesn't have to be explained. Guess what? I play the fifth. You good, I'm good. Nigga, it's not your fault, it's not my fault. You know what I'm saying? It's nobody's fault. Hey, let's just disagree to agree. Or let's just agree to disagree. So when you worshiping idols, that's what that means. You're worshiping the external God. So a lot of you are worshiping idols, but you think you're talking about God. But it's okay. You know what I'm saying? That's where you're not conscious. You're not aware of what's taking place. And obviously you don't understand mythology. You don't understand how is that how you being I mean impacted by it. And that's why now you have people that may talk about being atheists or none of that means nothing. Again, it's just window 11, window 10. It doesn't make a difference until you truly get to know you. Being an atheist, being none of that shit means nothing. You behave just like a motherfucker that go to church. That's why, in fact, that's why we tell these niggas, you claim to be different. I don't see any differences in you. They talk what they talking about, but they're not living it. You know what I'm saying? And their understanding of Jesus too. It's not the healing Jesus. It's not through Jesus' energy, but they're talking about Jesus from a physical perspective, from a physical feature. So therefore, they're not applying what Jesus was talking about. The worship that they're doing is that particular time. He saved me. He saved you. Oh my God, I love Jesus. And that kind of shit means nothing because there's nothing happening with you. You're not really transforming. You sound good though. Again, if we're going back to the image shit, you politically sound good, you acceptable by society, so you feel good, you're doing something good. Now with me and my dreads talking this bullshit to you, then it is this bullshit. Yo, I get it. That's why I don't give a fuck. In fact, I take all. I mean, I shit. I give a fuck so much that I don't give a fuck, and that's all part of my me having compassion for your ass too. Oh, he didn't get it. It's okay, baby. Keep going. You know what I'm saying? But just know the information is here. And that's why a lot of us come back or even talking about this shit because there's a certain wave, there's a certain way we say shit, and you know, everybody's working. Because ultimately you're dealing with fucking energy. And we got a lot of that over here, nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's what how else do you think we're giving sights to the blind? And we're giving you the true sights, the one that allows you to see beyond the fucking veil. You know what I'm saying? Because as you know, again, as we understand now, and you should understand, you could have these eyes and be blinded and be blind like a motherfucker to your environment, but yet you see. But how are you looking at it though? I'm trying to get you to go past the fucking illusion. Now that's when you become that blind man reading the scriptures. Because although you may not see with that physical eyes, but you're seeing in a whole different level. Come on, man, I'm working. I'm working tonight. To all of my ancestors, man, nothing but love. I love all of you motherfuckers. Thank you for your love and protection. Listen, you got me, I got you. You already know. I love these motherfuckers. This is out in public. Oh, it's that kind of love, nigga. I'm pulling myself out. I'm coming out the closet, nigga. I love these motherfuckers. And this is for them. You feel me? It's for them. They did it to me. Totally right. You know what I'm saying? I'm embarrassing all of them in public because they did it to me. And they still doing it to me. If you know, you know. If you know, you know, nigga. Anyway, you just have to have a moment. I just had to get mine in for a second. Everything else is yours. That right there was just for me, baby. That particular one right there at that moment, that was mine. That was mine, baby. Get yours. But it's also yours too, though. You know what I'm saying? But it was mine. Anyway, we could do this all night. Anyway, let me stop. So now, that's why I had a video where I was talking about accepting the self. And I also had to dismantle the whole idea of somehow for you to be a better person, you have to neglect yourself because you don't want to be cocky. But again, if you understand the ego, you being cocky has nothing to do with you knowing who you are. In fact, the cocky motherfuckers, they don't know who the fuck they are. And we all know it too. We say it. Listen, man, when you know, you know. There's no need for you to be loud. You know what I'm saying? How, Sway? How, Sway? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. How? There's no way. When you know, you know. Nigga, you wild. So, you can't serve two God. If you operating from Apple, You know what I'm saying? Well, it's gonna your setup is gonna be differently. It's gonna I mean your setup's gonna be different. You see what I'm saying? And over here, I'm trying to get you to not to be a shit. Get out of that war. Have both, nigga. I'm fuck with both Apple and Android, nigga. Now what? I know how to operate both of them very well. You know what I'm saying? And there are some benefits, that comes with Apple that you don't really get in Android. And there's some shit that Android has Apple doesn't have. I'm saying, and I'm trying to get it all. So if you get both sides, it makes you better off. It makes you whole. That's the that's the yin and the yang coming together. That's your lower self and your higher self coming together. But anyway, going back to the subject at hand. So, given the fact that we are training a society that makes everybody go by their self image, and because of that, now you're living your life based on who you should be instead of who you are. But when we're talking about love to open up to somebody else, now when you get married, you're dealing with other self images. You know what I'm saying? Now when that's what when Will Smith would say, "Yo, you know what I'm saying? Bad marriage. What the fuck they were doing? They know what they were talking about." You know what I'm saying? But we have a good image. You know what I'm saying? So when you get a divorce, it's when, what I'm saying, either one of you guys get to wake up or you can no longer sustain that other people image. You know what I'm saying? There's no fucking love at all. You know what I'm saying? And then I, I, I'm gonna leave that one alone. But anyway, oh shit. You know, there's a certain way that you see life, and there's a certain type of behavior that it comes with. Because at the end, and why does that matter? Because our life are based on what we know. The difference between a millionaire and someone is their train of thoughts, man. And that's what Napoleon Hill, in so many words, was trying to teach you motherfuckers. So now he's trying to get you to change your way of thinking to think like a millionaire now. And that's why, too, the Steve Harvey book, I mean, you're not gonna think like a man and act like a lady. It doesn't work that way, ladies. You know what I'm saying? It's only popular, a lot of people went for it. That's because you were already thinking like a nigga and you went for it. Yes, it's destruction on top of destruction. Oh, this is the belly of the beast, man. It's the bottom of the pit. Oh man. It's a little bit sad. I'm not gonna lie to you. When you get to see shit, like, damn. I mean, that's what you're fighting for. It's like more motherfuckers are fighting not to be who they are, and naturally, who you are. That's what's going to open up doors for you. And that's when, some people are trying to tell you, know what, follow the thing. That's the fucking illusion too. The self image. It's fucking you up. And you're living a life of anxiety, of competitiveness, of all bullshit. I mean, your accomplishments is never enough because you got to keep looking good. What are we doing? You keep hunting your own tail. You're stuck in that loop, man. And guess what? You keep reincarnating too. Your reincarnation already happened before you even reincarnated the motherfucker. In fact, it's because you were stuck. That's why you came back again. But us masters, we come back too. But we never got stuck because we were never stuck to begin with. Now that's for the elders. Because like if you know, that was for you. Anyway, let's get back to the mat. So now, the first step to becoming self-conscious is to accept the self. That's what you got to do. You just accept it. You know what I'm saying? And I made a whole video about that, but I'm gonna delve a little bit more here, because we gotta talk what we're gonna be talking about. But you could see why sometimes it takes me time. Anyway, let's get to the point. But I think sometimes too, man, it's better the shit we talk about without even talking about what I need to talk about. It's worth talking about. Anyway, I mean, it's all good here, really good. You're not missing out on anything. This is enough to elevate you any fucking way. You're always gonna get something positive on this side, nigga. Well, that's what niggas do. What was I? Yeah. So now the first step to yourself, and then also I forgot to mention about the whole, and I talked about that too. The reason why we devalue ourselves, and not only that, we take great pleasure in doing that, as if there's an actual benefit in it, and it's quite the opposite. There's no practicality, meaning there's no way you hate yourself. You're gonna do better in life. Anybody who has a career, who's doing whatever the fuck they love, who's what I'm saying, who's sharing anything with the world, comes from them. So in practical, that shit don't. It's it, and here's the crazy. No wonder why you don't even understand what's in front of you. You don't even fucking understand what's in front of you. It's not a coincidence. I get it. I have compassion. I understand you. I'm not blaming you. I'm just holding the mirror of wisdom for you to see. Oh, this is out of love, baby. You know what I'm gonna work you motherfuckers out today. Oh, I got a mouthful for you. Wait a minute. Let me get some shit for a second. Take a break, niggas. Reload, do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? To my dreads, you know what I'm saying? You gotta smoke that thing, you do what you do, baby. You ain't being judged on that side, you heard? So, what was I talking about? Now, we were talking about accepting yourself. So now, and some of the shit that I'm gonna be talking about may sound like simple, but they're truly not. Think about it. Now, when you look at this title, it's like I'm telling you to acknowledge the good in you, right? But if you were never trained to even acknowledge the self, to even for you to accept yourself, how the fuck are you gonna see the good in you? That's why you suppress yourself. The image is what becomes yourself. That's why motherfuckers wear Gucci. Why do you think niggas are buying that? Come on, man. Okay. Come on, man. So I know for me, because I understand that psyche of how you guys are thinking. Shit. But anyway, that's I'm not here for that. That's why. That's how do you think? Like, listen, I gotta give it up to Steve Harvey for that title itself. If you understand, that's what marketing does. That was marketing at its finest. How do you say, or how do you give the people what they're looking for, but that they don't know that they're looking for? I'm just giving gems, nigga. That's all. Ironically, I have a job as an accountant, but originally I wanted to get involved in marketing. So obviously, I mean, it's a little, it's dear to me. But when I truly was, but when I do the shadow work, then I understand it was the psychological aspect of it that I truly was fucking with. Again, because I was doing this work at the same time. But anyway, this motherfucker came up with the best title that everybody else was already doing. That's why in the fucking music industry, the niggas telling you, yo, man, we're gonna go by what sells, what the people are asking for. You know what I'm saying? You guys are trying to make a big deal out of it. That's common sense. I mean, it's the music business, isn't it not? So all that innovative bullshit doesn't belong here. Listen, it's not by accident, motherfuckers. It's the fucking design. As long as you don't understand that, you're gonna fight that fucking system, whatever the fuck it is. It's like you're in that never-ending cycle too. Why? Because you have not seen the bigger picture. Don't just be woke, man. Radiate, motherfucker. Stay lit. Keep shining. Keep doing. Keep going. Doesn't stop there. Now, congratulations, nigga. That's where you at with it. Keep going. Obviously, I hope somehow you can see there's a maybe a bigger picture. Just saying. So now, seeing the good in you, after you've been trained to see life that way, now you just now being born again. Now you start to acknowledge who you are. You're gonna have to grow. So although it may sound like that this is pretty heavy, now you're gonna start. Now you have to retrain your mind instead of looking the worst in you. Now to start looking at the good in you. I know. I know. I've been there myself. Maybe not the way it is for most, because I've always had an open heart, meaning I was open to my dark side, and I realized that's the biggest thing. It's not necessarily how much you know, but how much are you willing to know? How much are you willing to let go? I was willing to let everything that I thought I knew to get something new. I mean, I've been a champion, to be honest. I mean, not to, boast or anything. It's just as I get to know this motherfucker and I fell in love. I mean, that's all it is. I'm in love with you, babe. Oh, we're coming out of the closet, man. All of us. The fucking ancestors, me, myself, and my higher self. Me, myself, and I. Yeah, like people are saying, "Oh, it's okay to talk to yourself as long as you don't answer yourself." What's the point if you're gonna talk to yourself, not answering yourself? Now you playing with yourself. Eh, I'm not fucking playing at all. But you have to awaken to that once you get to see that awakening, and then that's when really that you're gonna start talking like this. Oh shit, you best believe I'm gonna talk this nigga, answer him, and nigga. I don't think you understand. You know what I'm saying? So now start seeing the good in you. Whew, it's gonna be a challenge. I sympathize. But you know what? It's gonna get better, baby. Don't worry about it. It's gonna get better. Why? Because true growth comes with you acknowledging yourself. And some of the things that we say by acknowledging yourself would be something when people tell you take accountability. Take accountability. You know what? I did this wrong. It was my fault. Now I'm going to change this. But it's that awakening, that consciousness at that point, that aha moment, if you want to call it that, that that awakening, it takes place through the self. I'm just showing how the self is a bad motherfucker. You a bad motherfucker. You just don't know it. Now, for me, I shit. You already know who's bad, nigga. Like, and myself and I were like, we're bad because this motherfucker was there for me from the beginning. I had to wake up to it, and I'm like, damn, I ain't gonna let you go, motherfucker. Yo, the minute when we came together, that was our union, and let's. I'm not. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna let him go. I found him, y'all. Found him. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. And that relationship is being translated in different aspect of my life. And that's the key. You got to go through the source. Find the kingdom of God. Once you do that, everything else is gonna fall. You just got to give it time. As a boy, you speak as a boy. Now, as a man, that transformation is going to take place. That's why you want to learn how to start seeing the good in you, because eventually you're building your inner strength. You want to learn how to be vulnerable because you're building your inner strength. Once you talk about how you really feel that kind of hurts you, that's not easy for you to say, you're getting a little bit stronger about you and your feelings. Now you're having better management or better control over your emotions. Now, when you go stray away from that, your ass is all out, baby. You think you're strong? Come on, man. These are the niggas that committed a crime. Get a job. Like what the fuck? Bitch ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? Bitch ass niggas. I mean, jail comes with it. Do you know where you at, stranger? And because of that too. And if you're not doing that right, you're doing it, you're not even doing it right. No wonder. Okay? No wonder. So even that, you're not even with yourself in that. You just betrayed yourself all the way through. You betrayed yourself. And when you do that, and that's what you see. That's the world you're living in. That's where how you dealing with people's shadow. Now their shadow have overcome them. I call these motherfuckers Chuckies because they're like that baby. but they look old, but really a baby with all those fucking hatred. Oh, you gotta understand, Chucky, dog. There's a bunch of Chuckies out there. All your fucking criminal. What does Chucky does? Kill motherfuckers. That's what they do. Either your parents by killing your dreams, by killing they already killed themselves. I mean, it's taking place in all different aspects of your life, and and I know a few things about that. You know what I'm saying? Because my life went from negative to positive, and it's all good. I made it on the other side, dog. I made it safe. I did it. I'm in love. I'm telling you, I'm a fucking winner. So I don't know how to lose. You know what I'm saying? And I embrace losing. This shit's crazy. That's why I never lose. I never lose. You know what I'm saying? Even when I lose. And that's putting yourself in a successful cycle. But that has to do with you acknowledging yourself. Start seeing the good in you. You know, some of the things that you think that maybe you do good, or maybe that makes you feel good. All right, so forget about doing good for a second. At least you feel good about it. Because if you don't feel good about it, you're not gonna do good on it. I mean, that's just the way it goes, man. I mean, I hope I'm not losing you. Again, there's no practical benefit in neglecting yourself, or even to be humble, to be politically accepted by others. And that's what you do through self-image. Now you're looking at yourself through the way other people are looking at you. And it's, I mean, you're killing the self. But when you operate from the self, again, that's why you cannot serve to God. Then now you start seeing those divine qualities in you. You might be a loyal person. You might be a person, a helpful person. Start seeing these things in you. Because those are the things that God loves. Oh, God loves me, baby. It's not even me. You know what I'm saying? He loves me first. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said, motherfucker, he been around for me all this time. I'm trying to get you the bigger picture. And because ultimately seeing the good in you is for you to becomes the light of the world, what you're supposed to be. This is you at this point understanding your quality. Now, first, you start looking at those qualities. Then you also got to see how is that quality. If I'm a helpful person, how does that impact a friend of mine? How good is this quality that I have? How is it helping other people? You feel me? I'm putting you on. Listen, listen. I'm helping you to look beautiful out here. You know, and when you start start looking at it from this perspective, what you're also doing simultaneously, because I like to speak like the way that other way. You know what I'm saying? I like listen. Mm, listen. I need to stop. I need to stop. But anyway, going back to acknowledging those good things in you And then now, as you start to acknowledge them a lot, you know, more often, now you're becoming more familiar with those good things that you have. Because no one is fully bullshit. I mean, even your Jesus told you that. You know what I'm saying? Even a bad person is not fully bad. Well, there's got to be some good in you. But your problem is, it might be even hard for you to even start looking at it this way if you've been trained to look at yourself through your self image. And that's what you're going through in your society. So this is the war that's taking place in that what you call the matrix. Because for me, I had to elevate beyond it. That's how I became the one, not the two, baby. The one. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you are just the two. You know, both sides had they got to become one. You know that, and that's what Neo understood in the last one. He embraces negativity, which was Mr. Smith, and then everything went back to normal. The Matrix was rebuilt at that moment on. It's on the house. It's on the house. It's on the house, baby. You know, you're not being charged for it, baby. You know, I mean, I know why I came out. I know what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm doing. So it's on the house. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So, so now, when you start to see how those qualities in you, how does that impact other people? In other words, what you're also doing, you start seeing your shyness. You start to see your looks, your brightness, and that's what you need to do. That's why this shit, it's not it's not a 1 day thing. It's not for you to look smart, to sound articulate. Do you want to sound articulate or do you want to be smart? Which one do you? I mean, if you want to sound articulate, again, you worrying about how niggas are looking at you. Now, if you want to say I'm a stupid nigga because I said nigga and all that shit, am I? For my woke niggas, be woke niggas. You know what I'm saying? Entertain me by all means. Have at it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he said the way he cannot be too spiritual. How can he say nigger? Nigga, who gives a fuck? Do you want to sound smart or do you want to be smart? And trust me, you cannot serve two gods. You cannot operate. I mean, you can't operate two systems at the same. You can't do it. So that's why the in Hinduism they talk about being the devoted ones, and that's why I always tell people too. You are already devoted. Trust me, stupid people. Big up to Dr. Lila Africa. Stupid people. You practice stupidity. You don't just become stupid. No, you do it every day. And guess what? If you it's that's the vibration. You can't have a half step out of this shit. You follow the self, well, you're gonna follow the road less traveled. Now, if you're following that, guess what? You're never gonna have what people are calling the ego. But your ego is still there, but it's protecting you in a whole different level now. How you feeding yourself is how your ego is going to act or react. Because the ego is just there to protect you. Just like because of your insecurities, you react a certain way. You're protecting yourself. You're protecting that image. It's protection. But now you're protecting the bullshit. And no one that's why you're acting in a bullshit way. That's why when you know you get to know, it's on a whole different level here. It's never been that's why it's all about quality. It's never been about how much you see, but it's how you're looking at it. It's just and it's just the difference, baby. I am nigga. I'm a I'm a luxurious nigga. You hear me? Ah, shit. That's what makes me royal blood. I wouldn't be less than that. You know what I'm saying? It's not in my DNA. And it is all in my DNA. That's why quantity don't matter. Never matters. You can have 100 mango. Well, I mean, being a Haitian nigga, so I'm gonna give you some Caribbean fucking example, hoping that you'll get to see the point, that I'm making. You got 100 mango, that's not, and if they're not ripe, all right, it means nothing. But the just two or the one that the who are actually ripe, you can eat. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Even though you have those 300 mangoes, you'll just say, I got two mangoes, dog. 'Cause those are the ones you can actually eat. And if you tell me you got 300, and then I'm like, oh man, I'm starving, and you're like, you know what? I can't really eat it. I mean, because they're not ripe yet. I'm like, come on, motherfucker. See what I'm saying? Be of quality, man. And quality is dealing with your internal values. So seeing the good in you, let us summarize this here. Seeing the good in you, now you got to stick to it. And trust me, once you start seeing it too, he'll do something to you. And that's what your growth is. You see, there's no growth without acknowledgement, without accountability. Again, without the self. It's not a practical. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do know, and I already talk about it, but it's just crazy how the way we just put the self on blast. And like I was saying, if you're going by self image, you're not going to be vulnerable to somebody else. So how can you love them? You cannot. And you're not going to allow them to love you neither, because even though they're loving you, that's not what you're looking for. This nigga making me feel weak. Get the fuck out of here. You weak ass nigga. I'm saying, you ride or die over here. I get it. You see what I'm saying? It's not gonna happen. Nothing can be done without you, bro. I mean, it's ironic. I'm trying to make it seem simple, but I understand that it's not. But once you get to see, like, what the fuck? Like, how can you not be you? And everybody else, like, what I'm saying, whatever the fuck, you gotta be you. And even to talk about that is to show how thick we all are, because we were trained to be fake, but we're not looking at it from that perspective. So again, we've been put to sleep, and motherfuckers trying to wake you up. So now, as a way to wake you up, one of the popular ways that people use, they tell me, you know what would you do since you don't know, you're not in touch with you don't know what you really like, and it's those are actual shit that you're going through too. You're really confused. And this is just to show you, how asleep that we are. But I'm trying to show you the awakening process too. So now the motherfucker would tell you, well, what would you do since you concerned about making money? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do anything where, what I'm saying, I'm not gonna be making money, I'm not gonna be able to survive. And that's what's logical too. I mean, you get me, right? And then yeah, 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 yeah. That is the reality. Your reality, right? And then now, oh, it's raining outside. The fuck? Okay. And then now, all of a sudden, what I'm saying? That's why I would tell you, okay, well, guess what? Okay. Forget about the money part just a little bit. Because now all that statement is doing is to get you to acknowledge, okay, put money aside. Close your eyes, nigga. What would you do? I mean, it doesn't matter. Okay, guess what? You got money, you'll do it. You don't have money, you'll do it too. And then in the middle of it, you said sucking dicks. I found it. You're gonna be a hoe. Like, good for you, nigga. You found it. Anyway, the bottom line here is this. And then, that's the process of awakening. What Daddy's doing a little bit is shifting your consciousness, not just to look at from an external perspective, but from shifting your perspective from an internal perspective. That's why it's never been about how much you see, but it's how are you looking at it. So again, that's why we gotta feed you through tubes. We gotta do the airplane. That's what we're doing over here. Ah, you know what I'm saying? It's okay. It's okay. I understand. Don't feel insulted. I didn't mean to. Sir, I mean, I'm not claiming that I am God. Oh no, God is way. I mean, hey, listen. You know what I'm saying? All I know is that He loves me. He killed His own son for me. Would you agree? Nigga. Alright. I mean, shit. I mean, he's not stupid. Is he stupid? He's not that stupid, is he? Okay, so you somehow, somewhere in the mix of it all, I guess I'm getting some credit, even if I didn't want it by default because of who's fucking with me, right? No? Oh, niggas. I'm so disappointed in you. You let yourself down. Either way, you let yourself down. Even in the practicality of what the fuck you saying. He did that, and you still ain't shit. I don't know, man. At least now you insulting the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's like you talking to a bitch. Hey, bitch. You know what I'm saying? I give you money. I do all that shit for you. And what? You gonna say? I ain't shit? Because that's what you're telling God. Like, because you're not acknowledging what the nigga does for you. I mean, how great really God is to you. Now let me know. Because if you're acknowledging what this motherfucker do, if you're truly saying this motherfucker's that great, well, how can you remove yourself out of that when he does that for you? That's like your parents doing everything for you, and then they to show you how much they love you, and then ultimately you're still looking at yourself like shit. Like, what the fuck? Is that like, because the purpose of them doing that for you to acknowledge what they did for you, it's an act of love. I don't know. Hey, I can't speak for y'all. I gotta be respectful and political as well, motherfucker. Shit. You can't do it no better than me, nigga. Hmm. Hmm. Anyway, so now start looking at those good. I mean, if you gotta write it down, it's good. And there's a power. I mean, I mean, I know because we're doing baby steps, but it's powerful to write anything down, guys. Because when you're writing things down, I'm gonna give you the science right now. You are materializing that shit. That's why when you want to manifest, it will tell you to write it down too. But what you're also doing is that you having a connection with that more, and that's why we have, you know what I'm saying. I think I talk about it. I don't have that. They're all around. So right there, you need to have these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Anything that represents anything, that energy, you materialize it. You making it part of you. And if you understand that, that's why people have a fucking altar. And then the ancestors too, whatever, you're able to have a stronger connection between the invisible and the visible. So when you make it, you materialize it, you transferring, and like, it's almost like you taking it from the darkness, you bringing it into light. That's what your statues, get your fucking statues, whoever the fuck you're attracted to, that's what you're doing. That's why our ancestors, we understood that. You see a lot of statues and like those guys, you gotta have these things. Because now you're creating a whole different reality. Listen, when you look at Oshun, looking at herself, and then she's the what is it, the goddess of beauty, whatever the fuck, because you can't have beauty if you don't see beauty in it. Understand? That's why rich people, the niggas are buying painting. You gotta understand that shit. There's a whole philosophy behind it. Buy yourself some fucking painting at your house. You acknowledging that goodness in you, this is all part of it. And this is a never ending process. Now that you have been born again, now you have to learn how to walk in your light, you knowing who you are. And that's how you go into attain later on that you're going to become enlightened, the illuminated one. But it all start with you being born again. And now you start to acknowledge those good qualities in you. You expand on it, meaning now you could see it, how you're projecting that to other people. Because the idea of what I was telling you by seeing if I'm a loyal person, if I'm a helpful person, how does that help somebody else? Then when you start seeing that, then now you are reflecting the goodness in you. Now, what you're doing also is that you are materializing the divinity, you're making it in human form. And that's what your saints are. When you see the hollow, that brightness is being, you could actually see it. You got to be the Christ. And the idea, the setup was for you to become that. That's why you have to understand mythology. Then you understand what's taking place And that's why they give you their gods. And your true God was there to set you free. The Tahudis, the Osiris, all of that shit. They are there to set you free. But you got to also understand wisdom can either, that's why in this life, you can either build or you fucking destroy. And that's what in Hinduism they talk about Brahma and Shiva, if I'm not mistaken. One of them is the builder and the destroyer. Listen, this is your reality. It's your reality as much as it is watching a baseball game, watching a fucking basketball game, or scratching your nuts, or fucking a bitch, or drinking on the house. It's your fucking reality. So again, just to summarize real quick, because I want to build on that. Because if you understand this, because this is it's a guide to your inner self. That's why you have to first you have to accept the self. You have to respect the self. Oh, come on now, and you got to support it too. And guess what? Your you doing your affirmation is doing. It's supporting yourself. So the work ultimately the work we're doing here, we're here to work. I mean, with ourselves. That's when you become the devoted one. And through yourself, you see God. Through yourself, you see those divine qualities. Through yourself, you see the cosmos. You understand the cosmic connection, the fucking energy, the electromagnetic field. Like you become the enlightened one. So go slowly. Take it easy. No, I really mean that. Take it easy. It's a marathon. Don't worry about it. But every step, make it count. And the way it's gonna count is through you under a little bit of that sight. Get your medicine. We're gonna leave it here. I shan't. Oh, before I go, always remember, motherfucker. Shit. Always remember. For you to be you, no one else can be around. And always remember, the remedy of the pain is in the pain, and to give is to receive. I shan't. Mali.